Heartland Season 19, Episode 4 will leave you at the edge of your seat, questioning everything you thought you knew about the characters. The stakes are higher than ever, and the surprises, well, they're just getting started. The episode kicks off with a level of tension that we haven't seen in a while. Amy and Nathan's relationship is under the microscope again, but this time, it's not just about their feelings, it's about everything they've built together. Their bond, which seemed unshakable, now faces a real test as secrets and past traumas resurface, threatening to tear them apart. The first major twist comes when Amy receives a letter that sends her into a whirlwind of emotions. It's from none other than Ty, the ghost of her past, and it doesn't hold back. The letter is not just a reminder of their lost time together, but a stark reminder of the love Amy once had, and it brings all of the unresolved emotions flooding back. For a moment, you can see Amy's face crack under the weight of those memories. Nathan, of course, is there, trying to comfort her. But can anyone ever truly fill the hole Ty left in her heart? That's the question that lingers unspoken between them. As the episode unfolds, we're given a glimpse into the complexities of Amy's heart. She wants to move forward, to find happiness with Nathan, but the shadow of Ty looms large. And it's not just her that's affected by the past. Nathan is struggling too, trying to find his place in Amy's life, all while dealing with his own insecurities. It's painful to watch, but it's also necessary for their growth as individuals and as a couple. Meanwhile, the Heartland family is dealing with its own issues. Jack, ever the wise figure, tries to guide his family through these emotional upheavals. But even Jack seems unsure of how to handle the tension building between Amy and Nathan. And it's not just the older generation that feels the pressure. Caleb, who's been through his own journey with Amy, finds himself in a difficult position. On one hand, he wants to be supportive of his friend Nathan, but on the other hand, his own unresolved feelings for Amy surface in the most unexpected ways. But it's not just the relationships that are at stake here. The ranch itself is facing new challenges, with the weather turning unpredictable and new threats lurking around every corner. The family is forced to band together to protect what they've worked so hard to build. Every decision becomes more critical as the stakes continue to rise. And just when it seems like things might settle down, the episode delivers its biggest shock yet. In an unexpected twist, the weather forces Nathan and Caleb to take a dangerous flight. But things quickly go south. The turbulence is unbearable, and the tension between the two men reaches a boiling point. Caleb, frustrated with Nathan's calm demeanor, confronts him mid-air, calling him out for being unworthy of Amy's love. Nathan, never one to back down, fights back with a level of intensity we haven't seen from him before. The words are harsh, but they're also a reflection of the deep-rooted emotions that both men have kept buried for so long. For Nathan, it's about proving himself, not just to Amy, but to the man who's always been in his shadow. As they continue to fight, the episode shifts gears, and we're taken on a roller coaster of emotions. Just when you think it's all over, the plane goes into a dangerous descent. You can feel the panic building as both men realize they may not make it out alive. But in a bizarre twist of fate, the plane is forced to make an emergency landing in the middle of nowhere. And this is where things really get complicated. Trapped together in the wilderness with nowhere to go, Caleb and Nathan's rivalry reaches new heights. Forced to confront their past, their feelings for Amy and each other, the two men are pushed to the brink. The raw emotion between them is palpable, and you can't help but wonder, who will Amy choose in the end? And will she even have a choice? As the episode draws to a close, we're left with more questions than answers. What will happen next? Will Amy finally choose between Nathan and the memory of Ty? And what about Caleb? Will he ever find peace with the past? As the credits roll, one thing is for sure. Heartland Season 19 is about to take us on a ride we won't soon forget. As the dust settles from the intense confrontation between Nathan and Caleb, we are left in the wilderness with them, both physically and emotionally trapped. The crash landing serves as a symbolic reset for the tension that has been building between the two men for so long. The isolation of the wilderness strips away the distractions of daily life, leaving them with nothing but each other and their unresolved feelings. You can feel the rawness in the air as Nathan and Caleb are forced to face one another. Not as rivals in a competition for Amy's love, but as two men who have been deeply impacted by the same woman. The silence between them is deafening at first. Neither Nathan nor Caleb knows how to bridge the gap between their past conflicts and present realities. But it's Caleb who makes the first move, breaking the silence with a confession that leaves Nathan speechless. Caleb admits that he's never truly gotten over his feelings for Amy, despite all the time that's passed. His voice cracks slightly as he speaks, betraying the vulnerability he's kept hidden for so long. It's a moment of clarity for Caleb, and for Nathan, it's a harsh reminder of the complex history that ties them all together. Nathan, on the other hand, has his own demons to wrestle with. He's not just fighting for Amy's heart, but for his place in her world. The turbulence they've just survived has only intensified his need to prove himself, both to Caleb and to Amy. He feels like he's constantly being measured against a ghost, the memory of Ty hanging over him like a shadow that refuses to let go. And in the face of Caleb's confession, Nathan's frustration begins to boil over. He stands his ground, refusing to back down, and for the first time you see the real depth of his struggle. It's not just about winning Amy's love, it's about finding his own identity in a world that has always been defined by someone else's legacy. The survival aspect of their situation is tense, but it also forces both men to confront their deepest fears. Stranded in the middle of nowhere, they realize just how much they rely on each other, whether they like it or not. Caleb, the cowboy who's always been self-reliant, suddenly finds himself in a position where he has to depend on Nathan for survival. And Nathan, who's always been the calm and steady one, is now forced to confront the fact that he's not invincible. Their bickering and rivalry may have kept them apart in the past, but now their survival depends on putting those differences aside. Amidst the tension, there are moments of vulnerability that sneak through the cracks. When Nathan falls ill from the cold, Caleb, despite his rough exterior, finds himself looking out for him. It's a small gesture, but it speaks volumes about the transformation taking place between the two men. The rivalry that once seemed so absolute is now slowly turning into a reluctant alliance, as both men realize they need each other more than they're willing to admit. Meanwhile, back at Heartland, Amy is grappling with the aftermath of the chaos. She's been forced to confront her own feelings, not just for Ty, but for Nathan as well. The memories of Ty are not something she can easily escape, and as much as she wants to move forward with Nathan, there's a part of her that still holds on to the past. The weight of those emotions is heavy, and it starts to affect her decision-making. She's torn between two worlds, one where she holds on to the past and one where she steps into a future with Nathan. The longer she waits, the more the pressure mounts, and just when you think things can't get any more complicated, we get a glimpse of what's to come. Caleb and Nathan's time in the wilderness doesn't just change them, it changes the entire dynamic between Amy, Nathan, and Caleb. When the two men finally return to Heartland, there's an undeniable shift in the air. The confrontation between them hasn't been resolved, but it has been reframed. The raw, unfiltered emotions that came to the surface during their survival experience will undoubtedly affect their relationships moving forward. Caleb may not have completely let go of Amy, but his actions now speak louder than his words. His willingness to put his feelings aside for the sake of survival shows a new side of him, one that we haven't seen before. Nathan, too, emerges from the experience changed. He's no longer just fighting for Amy's love. He's fighting for his own sense of worth. The turbulence in the air, the harsh conditions they endured, have forced him to realize that he can't keep living in the shadow of Ty. He has to carve out his own path. And it's in this moment of personal growth that we see the true potential of Nathan's character. He's no longer the man who's just trying to fill the void left by someone else. He's becoming his own man, someone worthy of Amy's love, not because he's better than Ty, but because he's learned to accept himself. As the episode comes to a close, we're left with a sense of unease. The emotional and physical journey these characters have just gone through is far from over. The unresolved tensions between Caleb, Nathan, and Amy will continue to simmer, and the choices they make moving forward will shape the future of their relationships in ways they can't yet comprehend. What happens next is anyone's guess, but one thing is certain. Heartland Season 19, Episode 4 has set the stage for even bigger drama and more emotional roller coasters to come. As we move deeper into the chaos, the aftermath of Nathan and Caleb's wilderness confrontation starts to settle in. Both men have returned to Heartland, but it's clear that things between them are far from resolved. The tension is palpable, and every interaction seems charged with the weight of their shared history. The questions that hang in the air about loyalty, love, and self-worth are only getting louder. It's not just about Amy anymore. It's about who they are in relation to each other, and who they are to themselves. Nathan, now back in the fold, is trying to get a handle on his emotions, but it's clear he's been affected by the events in the wilderness. His calm exterior is starting to crack, and for the first time we see the full extent of his vulnerability. He's trying so hard to prove that he's not just someone who's competing with a ghost. He's trying to prove that he's a man worthy of Amy's love, not just a placeholder. But in his heart, he knows that it's not just about proving himself to Amy. It's about finally accepting who he is, without the constant comparison to Ty. This internal struggle is beautifully portrayed as Nathan goes through moments of self-doubt. He's becoming more aware of how much he's been living in Ty's shadow. And while he doesn't want to admit it, there's a deep lingering fear that Amy's heart will always belong to Ty, even if he's gone. This fear surfaces during quiet moments when he and Amy are alone, moments when the silence speaks louder than any words could. Their interactions are filled with this unspoken tension, an emotional weight that neither of them knows how to address. Amy doesn't want to hurt Nathan, but she can't deny that Ty's presence still haunts her, and it makes moving forward seem impossible at times. Amy, on the other hand, is dealing with her own turmoil. The deeper she goes into her relationship with Nathan, the harder it is to push Ty's memory aside. It's a delicate balancing act, wanting to embrace her future with Nathan while also keeping the past alive. There's no easy way to move on from the love she shared with Ty, and it's hard not to question if she's doing something wrong by even trying. This episode shows Amy grappling with this emotional conflict, and it's heart-wrenching to watch her try to hold on to the pieces of her past while also stepping into the future. In many ways, this internal struggle is the most intense battle she faces. The crux of the issue is that Amy's love for Ty was all-consuming. It was the kind of love that changed her, defined her and shaped her. Now as she finds herself falling for Nathan, there's this constant comparison in her mind. Nathan is different, yes, but is he enough to make her forget the man who meant everything to her? There's a sense of guilt that Amy can't shake off, guilt that she might not be able to give Nathan the same kind of love she gave Ty. And that guilt starts to spill over into her actions. She pulls away at times, unsure of how much of herself she can fully give to Nathan, without losing a part of her that she doesn't want to let go of. The complexity of Amy's emotions in this episode is one of the highlights. She's caught between her past and her future, between the memory of a lost love and the hope for a new one. While Amy is dealing with her emotional baggage, the rest of the Heartland family is forced to pick up the pieces. Jack, ever the steady presence, is trying to offer wisdom and guidance, but even he seems to be at a loss when it comes to helping Amy navigate her conflicting emotions. There's a feeling of helplessness that Jack and the family at large can't escape. They want to see Amy happy, but they also want her to make peace with her past so she can truly embrace the future. It's not easy, though, and Jack's frustration grows as he sees his granddaughter struggling with a decision that seems impossible to make. In the meantime, Caleb's jealousy and unresolved feelings toward Amy are beginning to bubble to the surface. He's been a quiet observer, but now that he's back at Heartland, there's no hiding his discomfort. His past with Amy, while not the centerpiece of the show, still plays a significant role in the dynamics of the group. Caleb's interactions with both Nathan and Amy are tinged with a quiet bitterness that he's reluctant to acknowledge. He's been through a lot, and his journey to find peace with his emotions has been long and difficult. However, the weight of his feelings for Amy doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. There's a part of Caleb that still feels possessive of her, even if he knows it's irrational. And as we watch these emotional battles unfold, there's still the looming question: what about the ranch? Heartland is never just about love and relationships. It's about the family, the land, and the struggles they face together. The ranch is in danger, and it's starting to feel like more than just a background issue. The natural world around them is changing, and with it the stakes are getting higher. The weather is becoming increasingly unpredictable, and the economic pressures facing the ranch are more severe than ever. Every decision Amy and the family make feels heavier with the weight of these external pressures. Will the ranch survive? Will their family survive these growing challenges? As much as the emotional drama takes center stage, the fate of Heartland itself is always in the background, a reminder that even the most personal battles can have far-reaching consequences. By the time we reach the climax of the episode, the tension between Amy, Nathan, and Caleb has reached a boiling point. Amy is forced to make a choice, one that she knows will define the rest of her life. In an intense emotional moment, she realizes that she has to let go of Ty's memory for good. if she's going to truly be with Nathan. It's not easy, and the internal battle she faces is one of the hardest decisions she's ever had to make. But it's in this moment that Amy shows the most growth. She finally chooses to step forward, to embrace the love she has for Nathan, even if it means leaving part of her past behind. As the episode draws to a close, Amy's decision leaves everyone around her stunned. The emotional roller coaster has reached its peak, but the fallout from this moment will be felt for episodes to come. Will Nathan and Amy finally find peace in their relationship? Or will the ghosts of the past continue to haunt them? One thing is for sure, Heartland Season 19 is far from over, and the twists and turns are only just beginning. As the story progresses, the focus shifts toward the consequences of Amy's decision. Having finally chosen to commit to Nathan, she now faces the monumental task of navigating the delicate balance between her past and present. There's a sense of relief on Amy's part, but also a looming fear. What if she's made the wrong choice? The weight of the decision hangs heavy on her shoulders. It's not just about her happiness, it's about her family's, about Heartland, and about the future she wants to build. Amy's internal conflict continues to resonate through every interaction she has with Nathan, Caleb, and the rest of the family. The romantic moments between Amy and Nathan become increasingly meaningful, but there's always this undercurrent of tension. Their chemistry is undeniable, but can their love truly thrive without the shadow of Ty hanging over them? Nathan, for his part, tries to remain supportive, but the fear of not being enough for Amy is ever present. He's acutely aware of how much Ty still holds a place in Amy's heart, and though he's patient, there are times when that patience starts to crack. In quieter moments, Nathan's insecurities surface, and it's heartbreaking to see. Despite all his efforts, he can't help but feel like he's competing with a memory, a ghost. And while he tries to push that aside for the sake of their relationship, it's a battle that's difficult to win. Meanwhile, Caleb's role in the dynamic becomes even more complicated. His jealousy of Nathan is no longer just a quiet resentment. It's beginning to affect his friendships and his relationship with his wife, Ashley. Caleb knows that he doesn't belong with Amy anymore, but that doesn't stop him from wanting to fight for her. There's a part of him that still holds on to the hope that he and Amy might rekindle something. But as time goes on, Caleb's feelings start to bubble up in a way that he can no longer ignore. His resentment toward Nathan grows, and it becomes clear that Caleb is struggling with a sense of loss. Not just for Amy, but for the friendship and bond he once shared with Nathan. The emotional tension between Caleb and Nathan reaches new heights, and what was once a rivalry for Amy's heart now transforms into a battle for respect and redemption. One of the most poignant moments of the episode comes when Caleb sits down with Amy and opens up about his feelings. It's raw and honest, and for the first time in a long while, Caleb admits that he's never truly let go of his feelings for her. But more than that, he admits that he's afraid of losing the bond they once shared, the friendship they built over the years. He's afraid that, in trying to move forward with his life, he's left something precious behind. Amy listens, but her response is one of acceptance. She understands Caleb's pain, but she also understands that she's no longer the woman he once knew. She's changed, and so has he. The conversation is a turning point for Caleb, a moment of clarity, where he realizes that holding on to the past isn't doing anyone any good. He starts to let go, slowly but surely, but it's clear that the emotional scars he carries will take time to heal. As the episode progresses, we also see the deeper impact that Amy's decisions are having on the Heartland family as a whole. Jack, who has always been the steady anchor for his family, is starting to feel the weight of the emotional turmoil around him. He's watching his granddaughter struggle, and it's hard for him to remain neutral. His wisdom is no longer enough to provide the answers Amy needs. He can only offer his support, but as he sees Amy and Nathan grow closer, he can't help but wonder if his family is ready for the challenges ahead. There's a sense of doubt that Jack must now contend with, and it's a side of him we haven't seen before. His protective instincts are at odds with the understanding that his family is no longer a perfect unit, that things are changing in ways he can't control. This shift in Jack's character is mirrored in the rest of the family. Tim, often seen as the more abrasive figure in the family, begins to soften as he sees the strain Amy is under. He wants the best for her, but he also knows that the pressure of living up to the past is taking a toll. Tim's relationship with his daughter has always been complicated, but here we see him trying to bridge the gap. It's not easy for him, but his attempts to connect with Amy during these tough moments show just how far he's come. But even as the family grapples with its own internal struggles, the fate of Heartland itself continues to loom large. The ranch is facing mounting pressures from all sides: financial difficulties, environmental challenges, and the looming threat of corporate interests that are trying to buy up the land. As if the personal conflicts weren't enough, now there's an external force threatening the very thing that has always bound this family together. The stakes are raised even higher, and the family is forced to come together like never before. There's a sense of urgency in every decision they make, and it's clear that the survival of Heartland depends on their ability to work through their differences and stay united. Despite the mounting pressures, there's a sense of hope that emerges in this episode, and it comes from the most unlikely of places. Nathan, the quiet outsider who has always felt like the odd man